Good day, community, podcast community. Well, we have two ladies on the podcast, and we're going to be talking about something special that's coming up. And then you're also going to hear about problems solved. And we always want to solve problems. My name is Podcast Pete, and on the podcast, we have two ladies from Changing Spaces. And so I'm going to have, since Linda was the first in, Linda, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve. And then Holly will be right after you.
Sure. Thank you for having us. My name is Linda Kaplan, and Holly Mitchell and I started Changing Spaces when we found a need for our own parents. So we saw a service that we didn't think existed and saw that there was a great need to help older folks move from one space to another. So that's what we've done. It's been almost 13 years.
Wow.
Holly and I have a project management, advertising, marketing background, and we decided we wanted to start a business that helped people.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I have seen some of your sales material, and they're beautiful too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Holly,
Yes,
can you add to that? First, your name, and then
I can. My name is Holly Mitchell, and Linda and I joined together. We've known each other for over 30 years,
wow.
but we created Changing Spaces to really help eliminate the stress of relocating. Seniors, families, caregivers, and we provide that, one person to call. Don't need to reach out to anybody else. We can handle all of your questions. We can handle all of the services that you could possibly need, whether you're aging in place or relocating, whether you're coming in from out of town or going out of town. We can connect with other move managers across the country because of our National Association of Senior Move Managers. It's known as NASM. And we've got the highest A+ accreditation, which basically means in the industry that we meet all of the goals of ethics and service and how many moves we've done, and we hold ourselves to the highest standards.
Well, when I first was introduced to you too, I didn't know that kind of service existed because it was kind of a while ago, about a year and a half ago or something like that. So I was learning all about senior care. I was kind of new into senior care. I'm curious, the pain is obviously there. Well, I see it, people want to move a whole house into an apartment, and I don't know any house that can fit into an apartment. What do you say, like, what's the biggest challenge when you're like educating people about the need to provide this kind of service? What are you hearing? And maybe we'll go to Linda first, and then Holly, you would certainly can give us your insights too.
Sure.
Well, first of all, it's very stressful because for the person moving, it's not just stuff, it's memories, it's identity, it's who you were, maybe who you are. And oftentimes, especially for seniors, it's not something they're looking forward to or wanting, but maybe because of a loss of a partner or health issues, or their adult kids are feeling like they need some extra help, they need to make a move. So we have an amazing team. And like Holly said, we train them. We have a code of ethics. We are respectful, and we know this is difficult. We've done this hundreds and hundreds of times over the almost 13 years we've been doing this. And we have ways to help keep the memories, but get rid of the stuff. And that can be through capturing the items, through photography, through recordings about the messages behind the objects, so that you don't have to keep all of it.
Yeah. Holly, what do you say? Like, I almost think that you both psychiatrists or psychologists, because the emotional connection to material things is alive and well. And it's like Linda said, the memories. How are you walking through that mental gymnastics that you're handling with your clients?
It's really different. Everybody is unique. And
Mm,
so when we walk into a situation, we kind of take the temperature of the environment. And we really start out more with helping people um, gain our trust. We have them gain our trust. And we
mhm,
do that by following policies and procedures and starting slowly and getting a feel for how quickly they like to work and really what their personality is. So for everybody, it's very different. Some things work better than others with different people. So what works for one is not necessarily what works for the other. But we have this amazing team that Linda talked about, and the connections of certain personalities to people that we're working with really help drive home the project. Whether we're talking about memories and we're working through photo albums and they're telling us stories, we're still trying to move the project along, but listen to all of those stories. And it takes a very specific individual to be able to do that, which is why we take so much time in hiring and training who we have.
mhm,
To answer your question, I think that the biggest challenge that I think most people have, and we've done many talks on this, we just did one yesterday on downsizing or right sizing, as we like to call it.
mhm.
And what does that mean? And, what's the math behind it? How do we do floor plans? What's going to fit into the new space? And a lot of this is really just math, right? What will fit?
Mhm.
And that's where we can start and really use our knowledge and our talent to figure out, okay, we know what's going to fit. Now let's help our client choose the right things that are going to make that space a new home if
Mhm.
they're moving or relocating.
What would you say? No, that's good for our listeners to hear. We have two parties here. We have the aging kids, and we have the adult. We have the adult kids and the aging parents, and they don't always see things the same.
Right.
The kids like, "Hey, I want to save mom some money, so we'll do it for you, mom." Well, let's talk to the adult children first. What do you have a different message for both? I mean, obviously they think differently because they're different generations. How do you handle and what is it the assessment of the situation? Because I see sometimes they want to save mom and dad some money, so they want to be like doing something for them, but they end up getting into a mess. So if you're talking to the mom and dad, the kids are running the show. How do y'all handle something like that?
So honestly, we see most of it the other way around,
Oh,
where
really?
the yes, where the client, the older adult, wants to save the money, and the kids are saying we need help here,
Okay.
because it's oftentimes now the adult kids don't live in the same city or are working, have children. It's kind of the sandwich generation, and they know it's always more than you think it's going to be. It takes more time than you think. So it's typically the other way around. And as Holly said, we gain the client, and the client is, regardless of who's paying the bill, the client is the person being moved. And so we gain their trust
Hmm.
in us, and we push gently, but we typically start out with a floor plan. So it becomes obvious what can fit. We don't care what they take. It's their apartment. They should have what makes them feel comfortable, but it has to be safe. And so we lay it all out ahead of time. So we're not going to have the U-Haul, as you talked about earlier, come back and get the sofa that doesn't fit. That's not going to happen with changing spaces when they're using us, because we're going to plan ahead.
Yeah, I love that. So, Holly, like, give our viewers. I'm always amazed when somebody plans something and the plan comes together. Give our viewers an idea of that joy when everything's clicking, they follow your advice. What's that like for you? It's just, how is that feeling when you get it all and they're listening to it and you're putting it all together? How does that make you feel?
It's incredibly rewarding. Incredibly rewarding. And if we have the opportunity to have our team on site, actually, when our client walks in the door, we're all in tears. Not just the client's in tears, but we're in tears because they didn't really think going through this, which sometimes takes months, right? They didn't think that this was going to look like this. They didn't understand how we could bring what they've lived with for sometimes 30 and 40 years in one place into a smaller space, but yet make it feel so comfortable and so much like home. And so the end game is incredibly rewarding for us, especially sometimes given the huge complexity of a project. And every project is different, right? So what is one finished project to one is not necessarily the same to the other, but we have a sense of accomplishment, and just a smile on everybody's face feels great.
What that I love that. It's amazing when you have professionals take the reins. And I think sometimes we're so conditioned with the YouTube having the solution, and hey, let me just go on YouTube and figure it out. So when you look at an area, so you have a person from out of town and you're working with somebody in town, what's that dialogue look like? And then we're going to go to this big event coming up. But I just to give our viewers an idea, because you're right, we're all over the country now. We don't live in the same town, so that makes it challenging when mom and dad are moving.
So we work often with, as Holly said previously, with other move managers around the country. And we know them, many of them, through our conference that we attend every year. And we make it seamless to our clients. So if we have a move coming in from another city, we will get the furniture measurements and we will do the floor plan here. We get pictures, how they like things arranged, down to details of what the insides of their drawers look like. How much long hang and short hang do they have? What do they want stored in their closets, so that we can plan ahead and accommodate that. And then once we did the floor plan, they will tell us how many boxes are coming. We'll coordinate a mover, many, many details, so that we know and our team is prepared and ready to receive when we know ahead of time. We even talk about how we like things packed, color coding boxes for the rooms that it's going to, how to load the truck so that our team is waiting and we don't have to stand around while they put the furniture in place first. We'll have, say, kitchen boxes off first so we can get going right away. So it works the same way in reverse. If we're sending a move off to another move manager in a different city and they're receiving it, lots of pictures, lots of coordination.
I love it. I'm going to put on the screen y'all's information. Tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you guys.
We have somebody manning the phones pretty much business hours, but we are constantly seeing messages late into the evening, and so we're always able to respond to those because we have access to the voicemail, even if we're not on site able to pick up the phone. So happy to take calls 24/7. Doesn't mean we'd respond at midnight, but we would get to them the next day. And we strive to get back to people within a couple of hours at the most of their phone calls. We can also
go ahead, Holly.
We can also receive emails. That's easy. And I think you were putting up our email addresses, but
actually phone number, but give the email for the audio listeners.
Yeah. For Linda, it's linda@changingSpacesAtlanta.com.
Okay.
And it's the same thing for me, but just Holly at.
Awesome.
And they can also go on our website which is changingspacesatlanta.com. And there's a place to have us contact them. So that we'll receive that message as well. And they can also learn all about us. And there's a lovely video from a woman that we helped. And she talks about her experience with changing spaces.
Awesome. And for our audio listeners, we don't want you stopping looking at the video. 404-939-6160. It says 404-939-6160. I was trying to look for the PDF while I was talking, but I'm not good at multitasking. I don't know if y'all do, but I'm not good. So tell us about Made Whole, the Senior Resource Fair coming up August the 1st at Church of the Apostles.
So we're part of the Atlanta Senior Care Network at ASCNN. It's the oldest, largest, best-known organization of senior care professionals in Metro Atlanta. So we became a part of ASCNN, and we're part of the who's who in the community. I mean, that's just what ASCNN is. We network. We learn, we stay informed, but with industry experts doing learning sessions. And we learn about all other aspects of the senior care community, not just our own sliver. So we like to be part of that organization. There were about 50 vendors selected to be part of this senior resource fair next week. And we're super excited about being able to educate people and give out our information so that whether they're adult children, whether they're caregivers, whether they are people who are moving themselves or aging in place themselves, we'll have staff there on August 1st to be able to answer all sorts of questions, and we'll have all of our material available for them to have takeaway.
That's awesome. And for our viewers out there, Church of the Apostles is right off of 75, but I think you got to share this with people because this is an event that's really one of a kind because of the amount of resources, which are problem-solving people that are going to help your mom and dad, or if you're a senior, we have to know what our resources out there. We're changing fast and things are changing fast. So you got to know who can help you with the situation. So next Thursday from 10 to 2, Church of the Apostles is going to open up a big area where you can come out, meet Linda, meet Holly, meet 49 other vendors that have solutions that you can use. And the worst thing is, like, I didn't know this person existed. I didn't know this service existed. Now you have a bunch of people in one place. You don't have to go make all these phone calls. Come out, they'll have a table and you'll be able to greet them, ask your questions, find out what your situation is. And if it's a good fit, you have your solutions right there at the event. So I want to thank y'all. I did have, what I'll do is, we have Eventbrite that's tied to the thumbnail. Our seniors sometimes forget. So if they register through it, then it'll automatically give them an update, because you don't want to be like Friday morning, go, oh, shoot, that was yesterday, and then it's gone. You want to be able to know it's there. Bring your friends, bring anybody you think could benefit by having in one place so many resources and so many things to help you. So I want to thank you both. Linda, would you give us your final? I'm going to go to you too. I didn't want to think it was just Linda. So Linda, what would you want the one thing for our viewers to take home from your insights?
I would say it's never too early to start. So if you have a home that you've lived in for many, many years, and it's certain areas, whether it's the garage, you can't put the car in the garage, or a room that's too cluttered to use for its purpose, or just an attic or a basement that you don't see every day. It's much easier to start chipping away at that and do a little bit at a time. If you need help, we're happy to help people as much or as little as they want. Sometimes we give them like a little boost to start and a process, and then they can do more on their own. But it's not going to go away. So I would say start earlier than later, and start tackling those projects.
Awesome. Holly, what would you have to say? Anything you could add that kind of gives our viewers your viewpoint on the one thing that you'd want them to take away?
I guess if I had to say it, the next time you walk into a room where there's a really full closet or a room that you don't even want to go into, like Linda said, start early, start before you even think you need to start. And call us if you have a concern about how do I even get into this project. I'm like a deer in headlights. I don't know where to start. We're happy to get you started. And if you can't accomplish what you want to on your own, you can give us a call and we'll help out as much or as little as you'd like. But if there are piles of clutter all around and papers everywhere, expect that you and your family may not be able to handle this all on your own. And that's what we're here for. So, spread the word. We're here. We've been here for almost 13 years, and we're happy to be of help.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for taking the time to really share with our community what's going on August the 1st and how y'all are helping in the senior community solve a big problem. And we thank you for your time and being with us this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having us. And we look forward to seeing people at our booth.
Awesome. Thank you so much, girls.
Have a great day, everybody.